Okay, so today we're going to talk about radical equations. And what's going to make us know that these things are equations today is that these things are going to have equal signs. Nothing before that we've done has had the equal sign. So let's look at a normal radical equation. We might have something like radical x plus 5 is equal to 12. And that would be a radical equation that we might have. If you have a radical equation, it becomes like everything that we've done before, where you're going to try to solve for x. Whenever you're trying to solve for x, the order of operations are kind of in reverse, where you want to do adding and subtracting first, then multiplying and dividing, and then undoing exponents such as radicals. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, which is going to give me radical x equals 7. Then we're going to undo the square root. And you undo a square root by squaring the thing. So this is the really most important step. You're going to undo the square root by squaring both sides. And when you square both sides like that, you're going to get that x is equal to 49. And that would be your final answer. Okay? So that's the basic idea of how these radical equations are going to work. Let's try a couple more examples. Okay, so let's try these 3 examples. The first thing with this radical equation, again, is you want to do the opposite order of operations, which is deal with the plus first. So we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We're then going to get radical x by itself. To undo the radical x, again, we're going to square both sides. I'm going to get x is equal to 9. In the second one, there's nothing to add or subtract. So again, we're going to square both sides. When I square this other side, however, both the squares are going to cancel this time. And so then I'll get that x is equal to 12. For this last equation, we're going to try to get, again, x by itself. I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides first. And I'm going to get 2 radical x is equal to 5. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I'm going to get that radical x is equal to about 2.5. Then again, we're going to square both sides to undo that square root. When I square both sides, I'm going to get that x is equal to 6.25. In these type of equations, it's very important, again, that you do the order of operations kind of backwards. You don't want to square everything first because it makes a mess. So the first thing you always want to do is deal with the adding and subtracting, then the multiplying and dividing, then the square root. Let's do 2 more examples for this topic. Okay, so let's try these last 2 examples. Again, we're going to try to get x all by itself. So the first thing I'm going to deal with this is plus. So we have this positive 6 sitting out here. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. I'm going to get 2 radical x equals 4. I'm then going to divide both sides by 2 and get radical x is equal to 2. Again, to undo the square root, I'm going to square both sides. And when I square both these sides, I'm going to get that x is equal to 4. Let's do one last example. In this example, again, because I have a positive 3 out here, I'm going to just subtract 3 from both sides. I'm then going to get that negative 4. Radical x is equal to 8. I'll divide both sides by negative 4. And I'll get that radical x is equal to negative 2. I'm then going to square both sides and find that x is equal to 4. Tomorrow we're going to deal with some radical equations that will have some numbers on the inside of the radical also. The biggest thing that you need to be aware of on these things is always kind of do the reverse order of operations. The most mistakes that I generally have is people try to square first or multiply or divide. Like, you always want to start with your adding and subtracting and then kind of move towards the last operation that you should do is squaring. Okay. If you have any questions, please ask. Some of the topics are some old reviewing on the operation videos. Below I have posted more videos to help you if you forgot how to add and subtract radicals or if you forgot how to multiply radicals.